This episode of the Mental for Moto Inside the Helmet podcast is brought to you by Fastline Suspension. Are you getting arm pump, fatiguing after just a few laps, or feel like you're often fighting against your bike? Today's motorcycles have been designed and built to suit a broad range of riders, conditions and riding styles. This one-size-fits-all approach, however, means that when it comes to your own riding, your bike is often not handling and performing at its very best. Whether you're a weekend warrior or an elite level racer, Fastline Suspension will help you unlock your riding potential by ensuring your bike is set up perfectly for your specific needs. And with the right setup, you're guaranteed to go faster, fatigue less, and ultimately have more fun riding your motorcycle. So what are you waiting for? Contact Adam at Fastline Suspension now. Fastline Suspension, set up for maximum performance, precision tuned for you.
There were times I was lost, dark had fear, couldn't see through the rain. In the end it was clear, hit the fan. I was more than one man who was there to lend a hand. Together we'd stand, always at my back, my guardian soldier. Team put together, united we conquer. Blessed is he who in the name of charity carry me when I'm weak straight through the valley of darkness. Pitch blackness, the heartless, regardless, fear couldn't part us. Thick and thin, there by my side. At times we collide, but in the end we ride. Thick and thin, there by my side. At times we collide, but in the end we ride. We ride, ride.
Welcome back, Moto fans. We've got another great episode of the Mental for Moto show lined up for you guys today. Before we get into it, a big thanks to our partners here at Mental for Moto, Fastline Suspension, Southeast Pools, Ultimate Toy Haulers, Wolf Building Compliance, and the July sponsor of the Mental for Moto Motocross and Supercross wall calendars, Iro Helmets. Now, for the people that have been listening to the show for a while, they all know that I'm all about motocross and supercross, and I don't really get much into the off-road scene. However, I did get to Hatter back in 2023 to help my friend Steve Powell as part of his pit crew, and I still believe it is probably the single most exciting and impressive motorcycling event I've ever been to. So for this episode, we're taking a bit of a detour away from motocross and supercross, and we'll catch up with a couple of guys who were part of a team effort to take on this year's big dance. So welcome to the podcast, Riley Delany and Jake Zwart.
Thanks for having us, mate. Appreciate it.
It's awesome to have you guys on. All right, we'll start with Riley. I obviously know you, Riley. You race the Vics. You do a lot of motocross stuff. I've been following your career for the last few years, and you're a Mental for Moto rider this year as well. But for the listeners, tell me a little bit about yourself. How old are you, and whereabouts are you from?
I'm 15 years old and from Broadwood, Victoria.
Oh, fantastic. And what about you, Jake?
Yes, I'm 29, just in Hurstbridge, so just north of Melbourne.
You're both very familiar with Hatter, the big dance as they call it. So, Riley, tell me a little bit about your history with Hatter and the desert race.
Oh, yeah. My first one was in 2019. This year was my 7th. I've had 3 wins. 2 of them were in a row. One, I'm pretty sure it was 21 and 22 on 65 and 85 smile. Then last year I won 125, and then I had a second on my 85 where I had no seat for an hour and no clutch for the whole race.
Oh, wow. And you've raced that as a junior, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so how does the junior race differ from the senior race?
It's like half the time and the track's just half as short as well.
Yeah, so it's a different layout, isn't it?
Yeah, it's on the other side of the road.
Yeah. And what about you, Jake? I've got a little bit of a blurb that I got off you before we started recording, but you've got a long history with Hatter as well, haven't you?
Yeah, so I never got the chance to do a junior Hatter. Don't quite have the resume of wins like Riley does either. But I started in, I think it was 2015. I raced it for about maybe 10 years and finished in the top 40. I think it was 7 times in a row. So my best result was 34th in 2017, and then tried to beat that result, and it took me 10 years to beat it again. So yeah, I was dedicated to that for a long time, motocross background, and then translated to the desert. And that's what I sort of did well in, where I rode best. So
yeah, and you raced a little bit of Pro X as well, is that right?
Yeah, I grew up motocross background and started racing when I was 6 years old. So I only did the Victorian rounds of Pro MX as just a bit of a tick in a box. So had a couple of good results in there and a couple of good qualifying and stuff. But yeah, I was a motocross background growing up, so that was a dream come true to race a couple of those Pro MXs for sure.
Yeah, and you've got a coaching business now, which we're going to go into a little bit later on, but I'm assuming that both you guys work together as part of that?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So 2 years ago when I was training for Hatter, I was sort of riding with Riley. And then it sort of translated into me not riding anymore. And I was still then started to help him. And then I've been coaching Riley pretty much for 2 years now, I'd say, or a year and a half. So he was the person I got to learn off and teach, and hardest student by far, but I think it's paid off now to be able to coach him and learn the ropes of it all.
Yeah, fantastic. And how's that been for you, Riley?
Oh, yeah, it's been definitely good having like a newer coach and someone like I'm pretty close with as a coach as well, so we can have like a bit of back and forward banter. So it's been fun.
Yeah, and Jake's experience with like events like Hatter, has that sort of helped you, from an information perspective and just to be able to prepare?
Yeah, definitely, because Hatter's like one of my favourite events, and he's been pretty good at it, so he knows like the ropes behind it.
Yeah, I imagine after 7 years and in the top 40, which is no mean feat for any listener that isn't familiar with this race, like anything inside the top 100 outright, you've got to be a savage. This year, you guys worked together. Jake, you started a bit of a team. So I don't mind who answers, but tell me a little bit about that.
I'll go first then. But yeah, we sort of had a bit of a team last year, more so just Riley and ourselves. We're on the side of Peter Stevens, sort of showed off a little bit. And then, this year it's a bit of a group effort, and Trav was a big driving force. Riley's dad was a big driving force behind it too, but we managed to get a team together and sponsors in about 6 weeks. So we had 3 riders, being Riley, Delany, Banjo Sutherland and Mace Sawyer. So those boys were on the 85s. And we use it as a bit of a development. Riley's a bit of a role model for those boys, and they're sort of coming through the ranks. And we had a pretty cool showing, and I think we looked really professional. So
no, it definitely looks like a professional setup. The graphics on the bikes look great, and everything I've sort of seen, it looks really, really cool. What was the team like for you to be a part of, Riley?
Oh, it was sick being out with like the pros out and like show and shine, signing posters. Just seeing all like the little kids love it, and then all like the training that we got to do like by ourselves, and yeah, it was good.
So Hatter really starts and kicks off with the big Friday event, but tell me a little bit about the setup that you had for that and what that whole atmosphere was like.
Yeah, we had like a pretty big pit tent, and all our bikes were under the pit tent, and we were all matching bikes, matching gear, signing posters.
Did they still line them up, all the bikes in the middle of the showground there?
That's just for like the privateers, let's just say, and they're like everyone else that's on like a team. We're around like the outskirts of the oval.
Yeah, and was there a big crowd there? Like, did you get to sign a lot of posters?
Oh, I signed like probably like 100 posters. Got them all away.
So, no arm pump from that once you actually jumped on the bike?
Oh, I was signing all night.
Yeah. And what about for you, Jake? What was that night like?
Yeah, it's been cool, this whole experience for me. Just stepping back from 2 years ago, all I thought about was the race, and all I was focusing on was myself. So to be able to step back and provide the platform that we did, pretty cool feeling for me. It's even we got the whole event filmed by Galley Film Productions as well, Angus Galley, and that was something I dreamed of when I was racing. So we did photo shoots during the week leading up and did a bit of media stuff. And for me, that was something I wish I had. And now I'm providing it to these kids, young adults now really. But yeah, providing it to my riders, and it's very satisfying for me to be able to do that and, give out what I didn't quite get. So
yeah, so were you part of a team when you raced?
Yeah, I was on the Peter Stevens team for my last 2 years of Hatter. And then I also was on Maven Racing, which was maybe 5 years ago now, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, Craig Gathercole. So, was sort of on and off, but not to the extent that we had this year. This year we had the sponsors, the clothing, we had we had everything that made us look very, very professional. So definitely not the level that we went to for the boys this year.
Yeah. And as a coach, like, why a junior team?
I treat it as a bit of a development. Obviously, next year Riley will be seniors, so we're gonna most likely. I would love to have another rider on the team potentially, just depending on how everything goes. We had a lot of traction this year, a lot of sponsors, more support than what we ever thought we'd get. So next year we may have another senior rider. I have coached quite a few senior riders now too, and then been picking. So both Mace and Banjo had been coached by myself as well. So we sort of handpicked them to develop them. But yeah, it's a platform to build people. I'm not necessarily looking at grabbing a pro to try to win.
Yep.
Where that my role is to make people better and give them a platform to perform on. So yeah, we're a development team, and that's what we're sort of aiming for.
Yes. And Riley, so what bike were you on this year?
I was riding a YZ 250 2025.
Yep. And like Jake said, it's going to be your last year as a junior, right? We'll talk about your results this year and the race itself, but tell me a little bit about the process to prepare for Hatter, because it's such a different animal. It's even at the junior level, it's a long race. You know, it's not like motocross, and it's not like your typical off-road either. So tell me about the preparation that you had to put in to prepare for it.
Yeah, we've been like doing a few desert races up there, like start of the year, just getting like warmed up for going fast and stuff. Then, like say the week before, you need to be smashing water, having some good food just to keep you full for like a day, and so the right nutrients so you can last the whole thing.
So when you're riding, like, are you focusing on like sprint speed, endurance? Do you have to sort of mix it up and really incorporate all aspects?
Our race is like, I'd say, an hour and a half ish, because it's 6 laps, so you can like just be in like the middle of a sprint and an endurance. So you still want to push hard, and yeah.
And did you like have a lot of races that you've raced against in the past that you sort of went up against again this year?
Yeah, those class was stacked. We had like Jet Avard who won, Levi Rossi, Nate Munro, like whole top 4 or 5 was stacked.
And how many races do you get in the 250 class for the juniors?
A lot. I'm not sure on the number.
Yep. No, it's such a massive event. And do they start the same way as the seniors, where you all line up and you get the 4-wheeler, drive across the front of the line?
Yeah. I think there's like 2 or 3 lines, and it goes off your prologue. Like, whatever your prologue, that's where you start in the line.
Yep. For you, Jake, like when you're preparing the junior riders, I guess it's a similar question to what I just asked Riley. But what do you think is the most important thing to prepare for Hatter and a race like Hatter?
Yeah, great question. So I'm a big believer in the structure behind the whole event, and I actually did race programs for quite a number of riders in the lead up. So the boys on the team, we did a very detailed program, and we were doing FaceTimes every week leading into the event, just going through anything from the fitness side of it, bike setup, what your calendar is for the year. And I have pretty much 24 dot points, working that out. And I did that for a few other riders as well. But for me, it's the structure. You know, you can have speed, you can have the endurance, you can have a good bike, but if you don't put everything together, it doesn't pay off at Hatter. And I feel like the planning and the structure leading into it is what makes riders excel and not excel, basically. So it's a type of race you've got to do many, many times to learn the ropes of it. Very few people just go out and kill it. It's not just an attitude of go send it, because there's so many factors involved in the race that you just need to have your program. I call it the race program. You need to have your race program dialed. Otherwise, the big bad luck happens, which I think you can eliminate through structure. So
yeah. And do you get involved in the off-bike training and the like diet side of things as well?
Yeah, so we were actually lucky enough this year that we had my best mate, or one of my good mates, Lewis from Strenvo Performance. So he's a physiotherapist and was a PT, and I've done programs with him in the past. So I can guide and lead people in the right direction, but that's what my program does. if riders were injured, whatever it might be, we got him involved to help us along the way. So we're actually doing a program with Riley leading into Darwin and the Nationals this year as well. So that's an ongoing relationship we're starting to build and bringing him into the team. So I can provide advice and stuff on that, but I'm not the expert in that. So I've got the resources to bring into the team and provide that to people or
Yeah.
to our riders, we could say.
Riley, like I know in the lead up, and I hope you don't mind me talking about this, it wasn't all smooth sailing for you either, was it? I think you had a few injuries sort of in the months leading up to Hatter. Is that right?
Yeah, I've just been silly around stuff that I shouldn't, I guess.
Yeah. What happened?
Well, I was trying to jumpstart a tractor, and there was kids that we didn't know that was playing on it, and they must have knocked it into gear. Well, like the day before, and like just me thinking it was in park, just try to jumpstart it, and then it started, and I was standing in front of the wheel because it's like an older tractor, and then it just took off and ran over me, broke my shoulder and foot in a couple places.
Oh wow, I wasn't expecting that. I thought it was actually a motorbike injury, but no, there's a bit of a story there.
Yeah, I was going to prep the track, and yeah, didn't end up happening.
Yeah. So how did that affect your riding in the lead up to Hatter?
I just had to be like wary of my shoulder. My foot was all right. We got a new pair of boots, so they were stiff, and
It sounds like you dodged a bit of a bullet there. It could have been a lot worse.
yeah, a lot.
Yeah. So you still kept racing up to pretty much right up to Hatter. You raced the Vics as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I raced 2 weeks after the accident.
Oh wow. So what was that like?
Oh, that was painful. Just my foot, my shoulder.
Yep.
Yeah, it was hurting.
No, you did. Yeah, you did pretty good. I only found out afterwards that you had a bit of an injury when Kenny told me, but yeah, you were definitely ripping that weekend.
Yeah, the track got rough as well.
Yeah, was that was Terralgan, yeah?
Yeah, that was Traralgon.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about the race itself, the race weekend. So, how did your weekend go, Riley?
Well, prologue was not the greatest. I had a few decent moments, like off the start, just dug it deep into a corner and lost all my speed. Then overshot a corner. The track was slippery, and then yeah, I had a few moments. Didn't get the best prologue. Prologue ninth, which I wanted to be around that fifth, like top 5 mark, and then first lap of the race, I ticked a few people off, got into 6th, and then just started making my way up from there. Got into 3rd, I think, at one stage, and then pitted on the last lap, which put me back into 4th, and I was like not that far behind 3rd, and then like 3 kilometers in, my clutch let go.
That's pretty devastating. Was that so? Did you end up DNFing the race?
Yeah, but I don't know why it says on the results that I came 47. Must be because like lapped up to 47th or something.
Yep. So you still got to finish after all that preparation and the lead up, and obviously having success in the past. You know, what was that like? Unfortunately, this year and your last year of juniors, I'm sure you were really, really hoping to do well. But what was that like? You know, I guess when it fell apart.
Oh yeah, I was definitely devastated, but I was pretty happy with how I rode, knowing that I got like one of the fastest lap times and came from all the way, sort of like the back of the fast people. Had to work my way through.
Yeah, so there's still a lot of positives, and I'm assuming that you're pretty keen. You already mentioned that it's one of your favourite races, so you're going to keep doing this next year and hopefully, be all part of the same team.
Yeah, definitely we're going to push harder for next year, start training earlier. And
So as far as the track goes, we had a bit of rain in the lead up to this year. How was the track compared to previous years? I know when I went up with Steve Powell in 2023, they had a bit of rain in the lead up, and from the guys that sort of do Hatter every year, I think the rain makes it harder. The ruts and stuff hold up a lot more than when the sand's dry. So what was the track like this year?
yeah, well, we had 60 mil throughout the week or something like that, and then I reckon I raced 2023 as first year big wheel, and I reckon that was more rough because this year they cut out like all like the sand dunes and like the sand hills, so that's where it mainly got rough, and so we just went down like more like the hard pack stuff, and there was more like corners in the trees that just a bit more bermed up.
Yep.
And in the trees it had like some holes. The track was like actually not that bad with all the rain that we got.
Oh, that's that's cool. What do you do to set up the bike for Hatter? Like, do you run the bigger tanks and stuff? Because like the junior races, like you said, they're a little bit shorter. On the senior races, they've got to pit several times, to make it to the end. What's the bike setup like, and what's the strategy when you're racing in the junior class?
Yeah, well, we had a bigger tank, and just because we weren't really known if we were going to pit or not till the race, because there was weekend before, but I crashed out, sadly. And then, yeah, we weren't sure if we were going to pit, but pitted last lap. And then I run Stegs and, well, that was a steering dampener. We got bigger foot pegs as well, just so I stay on the bike and more contact.
Yep. And in the junior classes, Jake, you're probably, well positioned to answer this, but is there a speed difference? Is there a layout difference in the tracks?
I think the main speed difference is we're on the big bikes, we're on 450s and 500s. The junior track's actually probably just as fast. I never got to do a junior, like I said earlier, but it's probably just as fast, if not faster. The senior track winds its way through the trees a lot more, where I believe the junior track is just a hard-packed sort of speedway down the long straight. So the junior guys have always made comment that they're probably on the noise a bit more, and the track doesn't get the opportunity to rough up like the senior track does after 4 hours compared to your 1.5 hours of junior. So it doesn't quite get to the point where it slows down. So the junior track has always been known to be quite a fast, wide open style of race.
Yeah, so it's fairly high risk, I would imagine.
Always high risk, but you just do everything you can to, like Riley said, you put your steering dampeners on and steg pegs and whatever else you do to make that bike more stable and bigger foot pegs. So there's a lot of things you can do to, and even what he's doing, all the coaching and the training they do. It's not like our boys certainly don't go in with their eyes closed. There's a lot of preparation involved to make sure that the risk is as little as possible and you perform on the day.
We hope you're enjoying the show. Here at Mental for Moto, we can only do what we do because of the sponsors who support us. So please stay tuned for a couple of brief ads and make sure you show these legends some love.
Are you getting arm pump, fatiguing after just a few laps, or feel like you're often fighting against your bike? Today's motorcycles have been designed and built to suit a broad range of riders, conditions, and riding styles. This one-size-fits-all approach, however, means that when it comes to your own riding, your bike is often not handling and performing at its very best. Whether you're a weekend warrior or an elite-level racer, Fastline suspension will help you unlock your riding potential by ensuring your bike is set up perfectly for your specific needs. And with the right setup, you're guaranteed to go faster, fatigue less, and ultimately have more fun riding your motorcycle. So what are you waiting for? Contact Adam at Fastline Suspension now. Fastline Suspension, set up for maximum performance, precision-tuned for you.
There's nothing more refreshing after a day at the track when you're sweaty, grimy and exhausted than taking a dip in the pool. Southeast Pools specialise in building high-quality fiberglass and concrete swimming pools across the Peninsula and Gippsland region and offer a range of designs to suit every lifestyle, yard size and budget. So pick up that phone, give Trav at Southeast Pools a call today and be ready to take the plunge this summer.
Hero helmets have won over 125 motorcycling world titles with world-renowned superstars including Antonio Cairoli, Jeffrey Hurlings, Martin Muscan, even Jason Anderson. From the world stage right down to the grassroots motocross scene, Arrow is the title sponsor of the Gippsland Motocross Championships and even supports up-and-coming local legends such as Memphis Stravina and Zan McIntosh. As one of the lightest and safest helmets on the market, when it comes to protecting my most important asset, I choose Arrow as well. To check out the range of Arrow helmets, head into your local dealer today or click the link below to visit the website.
At Mental for Moto, our mission is to give the unsung heroes of Aussie motocross a voice. From grassroots racing right through to the biggest events in the country, sharing the stories you won't hear anywhere else. From the privateer chasing the dream, to the junior rider who's pushing for their first win, the mechanic who works late into the night to get the bike ready for race day, to the track builder who turns a pile of dirt into a work of art. This is the beating heart of our sport. We're able to bring these stories every week to thousands of Aussie moto fans thanks to the generous sponsors who share our vision. If you're interested in the advertising packages that we have available or just want to show your support, please check out our website www.mentalformoto.com and we can tailor a package to suit your needs. Now, let's get on with the show.
Riley spoke a little bit about the on-bike training. What sort of stuff are you doing off-bike to prepare for an event like Hatter?
Me or Riley?
I guess you can speak to it first.
Me? Well, yeah. So when I did it, and what I encourage the boys to do is a lot of cycling and running, and then gym as well. When I was doing it, I probably focused a bit too much on the off-bike training and not enough on-bike training. So if I could go back in time, I'd do it a little bit differently. But yeah, now that we have our personal trainer that we're working with doing our programs and stuff, it's a little bit more tailor-made, a lot of strength and, yeah, just cardio. A lot of it just comes down to the mentality and suffering though. And you just get that out of training hard, and you can get that by doing sprints on the weekends too. So that's sort of what it comes down to.
Yeah. And what about you, Riley? Do you enjoy the off-bike training for an event like this?
Yeah, it's definitely different to say motocross. You want to work at a faster pace just to build your endurance up and go for like Jake said, go for runs and cycles and yeah.
And what about the mental side? Like Jake just sort of mentioned that. I mean, you already said, Riley, the junior race, it's sort of an hour and a half. But for someone like myself, that's more about the motocross, an hour and a half is a long time on a motorcycle. And I know, the senior riders finish and their hands look like mincemeat. And it's a long time to be, eating roost and even just hanging onto a motorcycle. What's the hardest bit mentally when you're racing?
Oh, it's probably when you there's no one around you and you start getting start thinking about other stuff. That's definitely the hardest part.
So what do you do to stay locked in?
I just keep telling myself focus on the race and push harder.
Do you focus on technique like you would, when you're racing motocross? Is that a thing?
I just focus on pairing into corners more, harder on the exits and shifting faster out corners so you can get faster down the straights faster.
Yeah. And in your experience, racing this as a junior, looking ahead to the future, racing it next year in the senior ranks, what have you learnt over the last few years that you think are going to give you a leg up once you start racing it as a senior?
Oh, probably I've learnt my last laps are pretty good, and I have pretty consistent lap times, which also helps.
And what about you, Jake? What do you think the hardest transition will be going from a junior to a senior, based on your experience?
I think it's that time of 4 hours. I used to be in an interesting spot when I was racing. I got to go out in the top 40 in the qualifying, so I always got a pretty good qualifying position. I've got a few theories on what's best. The best I actually prologue was when I wasn't in the top 40. But when you're in the top 40, you get the smooth track. There's more room for error. So I sort of finished in the 40s to 50s most qualifyings or most prologues, and I'd always land around the juniors coming up from the year before and then the 250 riders. And their aggression on the first few laps, and even when you have motocross riders come across, their aggression on the first few laps just outsmoke everybody, but then they slowly drop through the field. So it's really just lasting that 4 hours, and I wouldn't even say pacing yourself, because to be at the front, you still need to go hard. Yep. But it's settling in and not stressing on the first 2 laps. It's just getting your pace, finding your feet, and then just keep chipping away, because there's a lot of time to be made up at the end of the race, and you really just don't need to be going down on the first few laps and losing your flow, bending your bars, losing your goggles. It's just about being a bit smarter.
I guess that's one of the things that stood out to me when I went there in 23. Again, I went in there completely blind. I'd never been to an off-road race before, and I'd certainly been to nothing like Hatter. And I was sort of expecting, knowing that it was going to be a multi-hour race, that the riders would pace themselves. to be able to last 4 hours. And I was absolutely blown away that, from the very start, at least as a spectator, it looks like they are going all out and just from start to finish, it's just 100% output. But as a rider, and I guess you can both answer this individually, but like how much effort are you actually putting in? You're riding at 70%, 80%, 90%, because from the outside, it looks like you're pushing the whole time.
Yeah, for me, I always knew I wasn't great on the first 2 laps. I would always pump up and ride tight. And for me, it was knowing that and then not stressing about it. So I can say I was going 100%, but I could only ride at 80, 70. You're getting roosted. A lot of the time there's the dust. The last couple of years has been pretty wet, so you haven't had the dust. But before 2020, there's quite a few dusty years in there. So, yeah, you are trying to your full capabilities, I guess, but you are just trying to find your flow. And then when you for me, when I got to sort of an hour and a half, 2 hours, that's when I would find my feet once the track sort of worn in a little bit more and I could start to take smart lines and be smarter than the people around me. So for me, yeah, it was just about, you're always trying 100%, but it's just sort of knowing when to go all out and sending and then when to find your flow.
Yeah, and what about for you, Riley? Is it like more of a slow burn or is it a sprint?
Juniors is definitely a sprint. Just you want to pull away from everyone as fast as you can, just so you don't get caught up and then like you start stressing and pump up.
And how important is line choice? Like Jake just mentioned that, especially later in the race, looking for smoother lines. But how important is that in the junior ranks?
Oh, it's still definitely important because we got some there was mud pits this year and they were pretty deep, so you definitely have to choose your lines carefully.
Yeah, and what is it, about Hatter that you love? You've obviously been back so many times and you're obviously passionate about it, but what is it about Hatter in particular and desert racing that you love?
It's just, I love how you go fast and you actually have to be push hard and you can't not be you have to be in it to win it, really.
Yeah, you like the grind?
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, I can pick up what you're putting down for sure. So looking towards, other similar types of races, I mean, it's a different animal, but have you ever done Fink or would you consider doing Fink down the track? Is that sort of on your bingo card?
Yeah, I'm considering doing Fink next year. That's probably what I'll do next year, and that's the type of stuff I want to do.
Yeah. And Jake, would you expand, the team effort to go do something like Fink?
I don't think I have a choice. I think I'm in. Trav has actually, once again, Riley's dad, Trav, has talked to me about it, and he said, I'm not doing that, the pre-runs with him, you're doing it. So, yeah, it's definitely, I've thought about it for a couple of years, and I've never done that style of riding before, not Fink style. So, yeah, I think next year potentially even this year, if we're really serious about it, and it maybe doing some pre-running with Riley. I don't think I would necessarily race it, but I think it's definitely on the cards.
Well, on that note, we see other high-level riders, Mehdi and Todd Waters that are part of a team effort that stay riding and still swing a leg over the bike. Would you ever swing a leg over again and race it as part of your team with your other riders?
Fink or Hatter?
Whichever, whichever sort of tickles your fancy.
Yeah, definitely. So I haven't actually ridden for a year, and I've ridden it a couple of times in the last month. And I've also going on a ride this weekend on a trail ride. Just was a bit of fun, but I felt like I ticked my boxes over the years, and where I got to, and I was very satisfied with that. I would love to hop back on a bike and have perfect technique and be better. To go fast again, I'm not sure, but it's looking like if Riley's serious about all this stuff, he needs to have training partners. It is good to coach and ride with riders as well. So it's not completely off the cards, but it's looking like it's heading down that way. Whether I do Hatter again, maybe a vets class in a couple of years, if I have a chance at maybe trying to grab a trophy. But yeah, I'm pretty set with coaching at the moment, and yeah, we'll see what happens. Never say never.
Yeah. Well, when your team riders are out on the track, like you had 3 out there this year, what are you actually doing on race day and while the race is going?
I was stressing. I couldn't believe how stressful it was from the sides. No, I was helping with pit stops. Everyone sort of had that was part of our plan in the lead up, is everyone had their roles. This year we had Mace did a motor in the prologue, Mace Sawyer, and we had to do a motor change in between. So I was helping on the tools there. Just like I said, I'm sort of trying to find my feet in where I actually do land with that stuff, and I just try to provide that structure, get in their heads, and just provide the positive environment for them so that they can perform on the day. So I think I wear a lot of hats on the day, and it's not always obvious what I'm doing, but there's always something.
Yeah. And I know, Riley well enough to know that he has a very high expectation of himself and pushes really hard to get results. But as a team owner, team manager for you, like, what's your goal in terms of results? Is it for them to have fun? Do you have a goal in terms of an outcome with something like Hatter?
Yeah, of course. I'm sort of on the side, like, yes, motorbikes is about fun, but we're in a competitive sport and we're having fun when we're doing well and we're improving. So that's what I sort of go off. For Riley this year, yeah, we wanted to win. You know, the feeling I had with Riley when he won the year before was like, I got emotional, I got excited. Just, that I spend a lot of time and effort with him. I'm on the phone all the time talking about him. People that have never met him know about him because of me talking about it. And so I'm very vested. I have a very vested interest in his racing and what he does, and that's why we're building this around him as well. So yeah, I guess it'd be crazy to say we're not trying to win. That's for sure. This year, I wanted him to win, but that's not me telling him to win. That's him wanting to win, and then us supporting it. So we just match the vibe and go with what he wants to do. If he wants to go on trail rides next weekend, I'll be there with him. But he wants to win, and I want to be on the road, and I want to be in that boat with him.
Yep. No, it makes sense, and it's a nice distinction to make as well. Like you said, I've never heard it framed quite that way, and I really like it that he wants to win and you want to support it, and I think that angle is a lot that both parents and coaches should look at more rather than sometimes pushing riders, from an external perspective to
100%.
to get results. I really like that.
Yep.
So what's next for you guys and the team? I guess I'll throw back to Riley for this one, but what's next for you?
What next? It's the Junior Vics in Shepparton, and then we're going off to Darwin, and then back to Shepparton for AJ Max.
Yep. And is this part of the team?
Not really. The team's it's more enduro, I would say. Most of the people are enduro.
Yep. So, Jake, no expansion into the motocross side of things?
It will, I'll still be there, and yeah, it looks like I'm heading probably to all 3 of those events.
Yep.
So, yeah, I'll definitely still be involved. The team isn't directly involved with that, but it carries a lot of the same sponsors anyway, and it all sort of translates across. So, yeah, majority of our sponsors all are on board for across the whole thing, but the team was mainly for Hatter, but we will still be at all those events and helping out. But I have had other riders I've worked with that have done Pro MX and state titles and stuff like that. So I'm sort of spread myself across all disciplines, really.
Yeah. So how many riders are you coaching at the moment?
At the moment, we had Riley's track's been underwater, but we had a group on a Wednesday night, which we had 6 or 7 really good riders, all national level, all training for that. Then I have another group on a Tuesday night, which is a couple of 50 riders, and we're just building them up, and they're really cool to deal with. So we really work on people who are beginning to race. I'm also a part of Diamond Valley, which we'll be looking at doing kickstarts and endorsements in the future as well. So yeah, I've sort of spread myself across people getting into the sport to young kids starting to race, and anything from those guys racing 450s at the nationals as well.
Yeah. And Riley, speaking of Darwin, did you do that last year?
No, I didn't stay back. Luckily, though, it looked like it was hammering rain the whole time.
Yeah, so with MXGP, it's obviously a pretty big event. What are your sort of expectations to go up there? Obviously, it gets really, really hot. But in terms of the racing, what are your expectations?
Want to be around the mid-pack. That's pretty reasonable, I reckon.
Yep. And you've got still a few years to race MX3 as well, so this may not be your only year racing up there in the MX3 class, will it?
Nah, yeah, still got like 2 or 3 more years.
Yeah. Is that sort of something that is a bucket list item for you, or is this sort of something that you would be keen on pursuing in the future? You know, maybe racing MXGP in Europe or heading to the States or anything like that?
This is definitely like a bucket list thing, but I would love to go race MXGP. But yeah.
Do you have an interest in Supercross as well?
Not really. Just too tight. I like more fast, open stuff.
Yeah. So if you had to choose between moto and off-roads, which is your preferred discipline?
Depends where the enduro is. If it's like a sand track,
Yep.
I'd probably do off-roads. But if it's like a tight, rocky, technical, probably motocross.
Yeah. So is your track at home a sand track?
It's like a really like fine dirt mixed with like some, I don't really know. It's like really good dirt.
Yeah. So where does your affinity for sand come from? 'Cause, I mean, a lot of riders don't like sand.
Just how my technique is really. I don't really sit forward of my bike enough, which I need to work on, but just love sand and love how you can like stay on it the whole time.
Yeah. And what about AJMX? Tell me a little bit about your previous experience with AJMX. For the listeners, that's obviously the Australian Junior Motocross Championship, which it's a 5-day event. Again, it's a little bit of a different animal compared to most weekend races. Tell me a little bit about your history with AJMX.
Yeah, last year I was one of the best I've ever rode. I was riding real good on the 125 in one of the heats, pulled a whole shot, was in the lead for like say 5 corners and then got past pretty quick. But I was in third for a bit and then just started fading back, got pretty bad arm pump. Yeah, it's around the 7th mark on like the 125 and then just had a really bad race and won race and got like 24th. And then the 250, I came 9th, I'm pretty sure. And then the last race, if I was position I was in, I would have came 7th, but I stalled it on the last lap and couldn't get my bike started.
What do you think of the format, the 5-day format?
Yeah, it's definitely cool. You'd get like, you don't jam out races, you just do a couple a day and then get a break for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Get back to the next day.
And what are your goals for this year? Is this going to be your last year as a junior at AJMX?
Yeah, it's my last year. Be hoping for like top 5 on the 125 and top 7 on the 250 to top 5 on the 250. That would be pretty sick.
Yeah, I mean, the way you've been riding, I think they're definitely realistic goals, but it's the best of the best, so it's never easy, is it?
Nah, never.
No. In terms of the future, you're looking to race Pro MX in Australia. I think you've done a few of the junior races at Pro MX, haven't you?
Yeah, I've done a few at junior, but I might be going enduro next year just for a change up and see how I go in that.
Oh, that's very cool. So what's your experience like in the enduro? Like, do you do a lot of off-road races throughout the year as well?
Yeah, I've done one off-road race this year. It was a sand race, and Saturday, I started a minute behind like everyone in the cross country. It was 2 hours, and then made my way up to I think it was 3rd outright in track. Crashed in the biggest mud puddle there was, which set me back a fair bit. Had to work my way back up. And then I got to 4th outright, and then front brakes locked up.
Yep.
And then Sunday was sprints and got 2nd in J4, which is the like oldest class, which was an AORC round, which is Australian Off-Road Championship. Got 2nd in that, and then I won the VIX.
So you've got some runs on the board already in off-roads as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, next year when you look towards the Enduros, what would you do? Like the VORC or the Australian Off-Road Series, or is there other events that you've got your eye on?
I'd probably do like the AORC and VORC and Yeah, that's probably about it. I'll do some motocrosses here and there, like the senior Vics and maybe a Pro Max.
So you obviously love love racing. I'm sure it keeps your dad busy as well.
Yeah, we're almost racing like every weekend, I would say.
Yep. No, that's awesome. And I mean, it keeps you fresh, doesn't it?
Yeah.
If you can stay off the ground.
Oh, and finish the race.
No, you're doing pretty good. With your coaching, Jake, what's the goal now for the rest of the year?
Yeah, just continue to build what I'm doing. I'm still in a learning phase at the moment, and a lot of my stuff is trial and error, and that's what I love about it. I'm not going out and telling people exactly what to do. I like to, try different things, try different techniques, try different thought patterns, and just keep doing what I'm doing. I never went out and said I wanted to coach, and I sort of just found my feet with this. And yeah, now that I've coached many of people and across the range, I just keep improving as a coach as well. And yeah, I'm just excited to keep building my brand and keep getting a bigger and bigger reputation. And yeah, trying to try to see what I can do with it and see, sky's the limit type of thing.
Yeah. As far as your business goes, how can people find you or get onto you?
Yeah, so I've got Instagram. Most of my booking is through that. I'm working, like I said earlier, with Diamond Valley Motorcycle Club as well. So a lot of my coaching goes through them. So yeah, mainly on Instagram. That's where I try to keep it all compact in there, so it doesn't flood into everything else and get lost in translation. So yeah, mainly Instagram, and yeah, all the details are there.
Oh, unreal. All right, we'll link to them as well. So any of the listeners want to find out more, I'll put a link to both the boys' profiles when we promote this episode. Before I let you guys go, is there anyone that you'd like to thank or mention? Yeah, give a shout out to.
Just like thank like old sponsors that made the Hatter team happen. Like massive one was KPI. They gave us some help and teed up just getting gear sorted and Mental for Moto for the posters.
Jake?
Yeah, we had 12 sponsors jump on board, so I probably should give them all a shout out because they were the reason we were able to run that matching gear. We were able to get a guy to film it, which will be on YouTube in a week or two as well. So yeah, KPI Group and Dirt Pack, Next Gen Fire Services too, Thomas Tree, Descon Electrical and Avair. A massive shout out to Colour Cartel who got our jumpers and everything made, which Pete, I've actually got one for you, so I better send that out to you.
Oh, legend, thank you.
So Colour Cartel were massive in making us look professional. Lewis from Strembo as well, doing the physiotherapy. T-Dub and yeah, obviously you, Mental for Moto, for getting us on here and also for the posters and just, yeah, tying everything in.
No, it's been an absolute pleasure having you guys on. It's always cool to learn about, new aspects of the sport. I don't really, follow the off-road scene, but I do love Hatter and I can't wait to get back up there again in the future and, yeah, hopefully watch you boys do your thing.
No, awesome. Can I also just add too, like, yeah, we plan on expanding this team and making it bigger and seeing what we can do for next year, gain more sponsors and try to expose those people. For me, it's been learning. Well, for everyone, I think it's been learning on how to do that and how to provide value back to sponsors as well.
Yep.
So yeah, we do want to, like you said, expand that team and hopefully that does translate to Fink. Hopefully it does translate to Hatter next year, which is the main race. And like you said, it can go towards the motocross side of things too. So we just want to see where it can go. And yeah, so far, not that we haven't put effort in, but it's all just happening with, it's just sort of rolling and want to keep that rolling and see what happens.
No, unreal. Well, to the listeners, keep an eye out. JD Moto Development, race team, coaching, it's all happening.
Absolutely.
All right, well, that brings us to the end of this episode. A big thanks to Riley and Jake for coming on, man. It's been an absolute pleasure. And to our partners here at Mental for Moto, Fastline Suspension, Southeast Pools, Ultimate Toy Haulers, Wolf Building Compliance, and the July sponsor of the Mental for Moto Motocross and Supercross wall calendars, Iro Helmets. And most of all, thanks to you guys for listening. On behalf of Mental for Moto, I've been your host, Pete Wolf. Until next time, see ya.